to Cheap and Green. It's Sunday morning for us, and I'm going to make a family favorite, which is strawberry risotto. So this risotto is actually milk-based instead of a stock-based like your traditional risotto for dinner time. Last week I showed you how to make the risotto in the microwave, but for this one I actually need to use the stovetop. So I have to thank Martha Stewart for the original idea, and I'll put a link to her original recipe in the comment box, but of course I've changed it because that's what I do. So come with me and I'll show you what I'm going to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to heat up my pot and I'm going to melt some butter. So you want, I would say, probably more butter than you think. Maybe as much as 2 tablespoons of butter. So once the butter is melted, I'm going to put in a cup, maybe even 2 cups, of the short grain Italian style or Arborio rice. This is the traditional Italian risotto rice, and you want to make sure that you use this kind and not the regular long grain rice that you might be familiar with. You just want to stir the rice until it is completely coated with the melted butter. So now I'm going to add in some milk. This is just 1% milk, and I have heated this a little bit in the microwave just so it's not cold. If you use a warm liquid, it makes the risotto much more creamy. So I'm going to just put this in, just very carefully, and stir it in. Now I'm using the microwave. If you don't want to use the microwave, you can actually have a separate pot going on the stove just to keep your milk heated, and then just ladle it in slowly. The trick is to just put a little bit of liquid at a time and wait until it's completely absorbed before adding another cup. So here's a Canadian thing for you Americans out there. This is what we do for milk in Canada. And then we use scissors and we just trim the top. So this is ready to add more liquid, and I can tell that because when I draw my spoon across, it leaves a clean spot and it takes a moment for the liquid to fill that in, like that, you see? So that's ready. The slower that you add your milk in, and again, it can be any milk, it can be 1%, it can be whole milk, whatever your family uses is going to be just fine. The slower you add that in, the creamier your risotto will be. So this is not quick. This is not a busy school morning breakfast. This is a lazy, relaxed, maybe Sunday morning or vacation breakfast, because it'll probably take about 40 minutes for me to finish this process. So I've been stirring this pretty constantly for probably about 30 minutes. And adding in cup after cup of heated milk. And now the rice is almost cooked. It's not quite, it's still a little crunchy in the middle, but it's time to add the sugar. I'm just going to use my sugar bowl. Now, for a batch this large, it's probably going to end up being about ½ a cup of sugar, but I'm just going to put it in a little bit at a time just to taste, because I don't want to just dump in sugar. And also for this, I would really recommend that you use plain white sugar, not maple syrup or honey or brown sugar. This is such a delicate meal that the other sugars are quite distinct in their flavors, and it will pretty much overshadow the strawberry flavor. And you don't want it to color, because the strawberries will actually make this a really gorgeous color of pink. So stick with the white sugar just for this treat. So now I'm ready to put in the strawberries. You can use fresh strawberries, and especially if they're in season, they're great. But I actually find that the frozen strawberries work better for this recipe. I think the flavor is more concentrated, And I mean, we're in Canada and this is fall. There is no local strawberries to be had this time of year. So these ones are going to work great. So you can see that the strawberries are just starting to tint the risotto pink. So this is done. You can see I'm drawing my spoon across. It's not too soupy. It's a really gorgeous shade of pink. And I've tested the rice and it is cooked all the way through. So thanks for joining me today on Cheap and Green. If you're enjoying the show, please subscribe and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments.